Back in the living room. Yeah. It's actually a warm day out today, but I figured since I'm going to do a fuel system, it's cleaner in here. And my phone just fell. Oh. Yeah. Let's try that again. There we go. It's going to be easier to do a fuel system video in here. It's quiet. I got a church behind my house, and a lot of churchgoers are quite loud. So if I did this in the garage, it'd be a whole bunch of, hey, whatever. Yeah, so we have beavers here on our cups in a great Canada. Yeah, fuel system. Let's talk about it, shall we? So, where do we want to start? Throughout my research, this is kind of what my basis has told me is probably going to be not a terrible idea. So let's start with emulsion tubes. These are the turbo emulsion tubes. I ordered them from CB Performance. I did have to mill them down a bit when they came in. They were a little tight to fit in the emulsion tube holder, I guess would be the proper definition for it. Any research that I've done said these are a good idea. Guys can do it without it. This is a stock one here. Stock, if you want to call it that. Sorry for the shaky ass cam. I don't have a camera stand, but it helps with tunability. Makes it easier to tune, not necessarily makes it a better tune. Like I said, there are guys that can tune them no problem using those ones there. Wow, my finger's huge. Look at that. I wonder if that will work on my... Anyhow. Yeah, so turbo emulsion tubes. The other thing that CB does sell, they're called Modulator rings, which is essentially a choke, restrictor plate, if you will, for the carbs. They were sold out, and I've seen and or heard via the research that I've done that you could just build them, so I opted to just build them. I used a, how big was that? 25 mil, so a 1-inch reamer, just in some aluminum plate. And they say to build them a few mils smaller than your Venturis. So I'm running 28 Venturis, so I got a 25 mil restrictor plate. What that'll do is keep the boost up in the top hat here, restrict the flow going through as you're coming onto boost, so then it'll give your fuel a chance to catch up. Again, it's not needed for a turbo, but everything that I've researched says it's probably not a bad idea to do it. Gaskets I just made, pair of scissors. Still got to trim this one a little bit up in that corner there and around these two bolts, but the gasket should hold up. So, oh, and I got that one bolted down, so that one's not going to come off. But the carb hats you could probably see in one of my previous videos. So I'm running this as a dual setup. You absolutely could, especially if you're running in a Beetle, run it as a single setup. That way you have your carb kind of facing you when your hood's open, and then all your adjustments are kind of right in your face. Your idle jets that are just up here, idle mixture, and then when you pull your carb off, you have your main jets and air stacks, which just kind of fit down in there. One thing that I've learned, been told, and learned the hard way is you don't want to crank these down. You just barely want to get them seated. You're not torquing a cylinder head down. You just barely is usually good enough. So long as everything's clean when you put it together, you're not going to have any grit or anything get in there. They shouldn't back themselves off. But when you crank it down, bad things can happen. So another thing that I'm doing is AN lines everywhere. I've worked with and built, or helped build, I should say, a lot of drag cars and stuff, and I know the merits of using AN lines. They are stupid expensive. They're a pain in the ass to build. And you got to clean them after you build them, but I mean clean them. Don't just be like, oh yeah, no, fuck, it's good enough. So the AN lines, I see them being useful to me in the future. Like I said, they are stupid expensive to build though, so I'm probably going to leave that out when I do a final tally, and I really don't want to know what I've spent on it so far, but the AN lines, I can almost guarantee I'm over $1,000 in AN fittings. But that's where I see money being well spent. They're gonna last, maybe not forever, but they are gonna last a long time. And if I ever have to pull it apart or change anything, it's real simple to pull the fittings apart and throw in a new line or cut it shorter or what have you. So you're probably looking at this going, oh, Aeromotive, yeah, fucking expensive. You are correct. This is a boost reference fuel pressure regulator. It's not a rising rate. It is a 1-to-1. So when you add 1 pound of boost, it will add 1 pound of fuel pressure. This being the return line, feed line, exit ports. You can make any, there's 4 ports in the top here. There's 1 on the back side of the bracket. I just got a brass plug in it right now, but you can make any one of these your feed line, any of them your return line. I can't recall the part number, but I should find that and I'll throw it down in the description, along with the price. I think I got this one on sale on Amazon for $120 Canadian, 140. More to the point of the story, this is, again, to me, money well spent. Currently I got the carburetor spring in it, and it does come with a fuel injection spring, so I can run up to 60 base PSI. Right now I got the, I think it's 1 to 20 PSI spring in it. And then all of that will be boost reference as well. So hypothetically, if you ran an EFI setup, or if I ran an EFI setup down the road and threw 20 pounds of boost at it, and I wanted 60 as my base, I could have up to 80 PSI coming out through the poop chute of that. However, my fuel pump will not support that because I sized my fuel pump off of OE spec. There we go. Okay, let's do a little bit of advertising. Red Horse, yeah. So, fuel pump is a Carter P5001. Insert a video clip of Jackie Chan saying Carter from Rush Hour 2. Kata, kata. But not actually, because I'm not sure on copyright infringement laws. Again, I don't know exactly the price I paid for it. I think it was around $100. This is a inline GM throttle body injection fuel pump. So it's made to run a 350 throttle body injection, which would be somewhere between 88 and 95. I believe is when GM had the throttle body. It runs 20 PSI outlet pressure, which will give me, even if I do a 4 PSI base, it'll give me 16 PSI of boost I can run into it, into those, I suppose. So it seemed adequate. It's Carter, so it's not some high-fung, off-the-shelf, weird, crappy Chinese built, gonna break down on you. The other thing I liked about this is, hypothetically, I do have a problem with it. It is a super common pump, and I should be able to get one at almost any auto parts store. I did get this one off Amazon, and again, I think I paid around $100 for it. The hard part was trying to figure out what fittings received into both ends. I'm doing -6 for the entire system, both feed, return, and feed into the pump. Sorry, feed into the pump there. Yeah, that's much better. -6, I believe this is just 100 micron. Fuel filter, thank you. That's the one I was looking for. AN lines, AN fittings. I'm doing hard line from the front to the rear because I'm running it on top of my tunnel. I'm doing a tunnel on top of my tunnel as well. That seems like a more logical choice than putting it under the car and possibly bottoming it out on a speed bump if I ever lower the car. So goddamn Beaver, you make good coffee. So I am running aluminum hardline up through the poop chute, and I am doing a new fuel tank. The only reason I am doing a new fuel tank is because the one that's in the buggy currently has plagued me all last year. More than one occasion, I've had to roadside repair or top up just to make it home. It was, I don't know if it was the original, but it was rustier than shit when I got it, and I've epoxied it, I've welded it, I've patched it, and I'm just done with it. So this is a brand new, straight from Concept One fuel tank. Yeah. I don't know what I was just pointing at there. Oh, could be my giant porn collection, but whatever. So it does have, come on, focus in. You can do it. Do it for daddy. It does have the factory port on it. I am cutting that out and putting a weld-in bung in that location. These bungs I got from Greg Distributors. They're $6 a piece or $4 a piece or dirt cheap a piece. I'm also using them for my catch can and my return line. And instead of welding just a AM fitting or JIC fitting, I guess would be more appropriate to it, I wanted to do a weld bung because I can do, like, that's half MPT right there. So if I do a EJ25 or something that makes stupid power down the road, which I highly doubt I'm going to do because everything going to plan, this air cooled is going to be cool and it's different, and that's what I like, is different things. But I'll have the fuel system to take care of whatever power levels I can make in the thing. Oh, yeah, since we're here, if any of you guys think that you can't do this, I am a shitty fucking welder. I used my buddy's scratch start TIG. Ran out of gas, and as you can tell, I contaminated more than a few times. But we did end up, there we go. Did end up getting some of my intake pipe welded up. So, like I said, I am a shitty fucking welder, and I'm okay with that. Since they're here, let's go. Gauges, these are the Phantom series from Autometer. I can go with Phantom 2s. I like the white face with the black letters, numbers. They stand out to me, and it should match the car as well. Probably the most important part of my fuel system will be my AEM air fuel ratio gauge. These are 200 and change on Amazon.ca. This is the Bosch 4.9 LSU Youth Go air fuel ratio gauge. So this will let me know if my jetting is anywhere close, if I'm way out to lunch, if I'm way fat, if I'm way lean, throughout the RPM band. So if I do have a problem, that's going to be my tattletale. And yeah, that's my basic fuel system. So once I get it all installed in the car, I'll have it, I don't know, maybe I'll do another video of it all installed. But out of everything here, that was the #1 thing I bought, because I know that will save my motor before emulsion tubes or modulator rings or fuel filter or the right pressure regulator or the right pump. That will tell me that, hey, motherfucker, you're about to blow up. Get your shit together, get out of it. So, from a tunability standpoint, I'm not running fuel injection, so it's not like I could just pop on a laptop and be like, oh yeah, let's add another, 6 megacycles of injector squirt action, so it goes blah, blah, more fuel. So the AEM air, well, I don't even care if it's AEM, but #1 recommended thing is tuning a carburetor with an air-fuel ratio gauge on a boosted application. For the love of fuck, just do it. It's, like I said, 220, 250 bucks, something like that. It is worth every goddamn penny. Shit, I left something on the stove. I think it's done cooking. Might be burnt. I'm gonna go check that. Turns out I did leave something on the stove, and it was only a little burnt, so it was still good. Itchy ban for the win. So yeah, that's my fuel system. I don't think I missed anything on it, but I might have. So yeah. Good talk. Beaver.